Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Spooky AF. My name is Suz, and God, my co-host Rob, you have to, it's so humid. Why is it so humid?
It's mad humid, and it's because I don't have a fan on.
It is.
So,
Yep.
just cooking, pretty much.
You're cooked.
Yeah.
As the youths would say.
I am cooked, yeah. It's okay, though. I'm sure... I understand now why the Finns are mad into, saunas.
Yep.
So, this must be good for my skin.
You're like, I've got swamp ass, but I have never looked more glowy, so...
Not a single spot on this face. My skin is flawless right now.
I don't want to agree with that, because having grown up, in the middle of West Texas with no aircon, I never felt purified. I just felt gross all the time.
Well, you see, that was consistent, no aircon. This is just me locked in my little sauna room, basically.
Oh, okay.
When I leave this room, the rest of my house being at 24, 25 degrees actually feels cold.
I get so mad because there are people I work with who are like, oh God, it must have been so nice to grow up with heat. I love it when I go to Marbella. And I'm like, yeah, that was definitely...
You and I are not
the
the
same.
same.
That was definitely not the vibe of the middle of bordering the desert Texas. I didn't mosey my poverty ass down to the beach that was 16 hours away. That I sat there trying to really decide whether I wanted to go pee or keep the skin on my thighs from coming off on the leather couch. It was what?
Yeah, or the lads in Dune, you're trying to conserve moisture.
Oh yeah, I watched Dune. I was like, yeah, I get it. I'd overthrow a regime too if I had to live like this forever.
Yeah, basically where Suz is from, if it was in Breaking Bad, there would have been a yellow filter on the screen.
Oh, well, Rob, there was a yellow filter on my eyes. It was just on my retinas.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I moved to the UK that I was like, oh my God, color. I was like, is that purple? I don't know. Sorry, I'm just talking shit. Oh God. Well, I actually have what I think is a really interesting one that I want to talk about. But first, I need to drop a little bit of recent Suz lore on you because I think it's hilarious every time I do because you just are like, what is your life?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
So my husband and I were up at a a shopping center kind of area today because we needed to pick up a prescription for me because we're going on holiday, and so we needed to make sure I had enough of the medication I take to get through the holiday. And we're waiting for the bus, the one that runs near our house, and it's notoriously really shitty in the sense that it's almost never there. It's not there when it's supposed to be there. It's not there when it's not supposed to be there. It'll show up you'll stand at a stop that'll say 3 minutes, and then 3 minutes will go by, and then it'll disappear, and then the thing will come back up on the sign and say 25 minutes, and you're like, cool, it disappeared again into the ether, like the callback to the Philadelphia bus I did schedule. So while we were standing there at the stop, and it was the third bus had not come and gone, I tried to Google what do Dubliners think is the worst bus in Dublin. And one of them said this particular bus that I don't know where it runs because I don't go anywhere. So for having lived in Dublin as long as I have, I know so little of it. So I didn't know where it was, but their comment was the top row or the top of the bus is always filled with miscreants and scumbags. Luckily though, the bus drivers are hard as fuck and are not afraid to come up and solve a problem, which was one of the best comments I've ever read. But it made me remember that a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if I told you this. So did I tell you that I was going into work and going into the office for my day in the office, and the bus I was on was going down the Keys, and my bus driver stops at a stop that our bus, the bus I was on, does not stop at, and he hopped out to get into a fight with someone.
Classic Dublin bus move
Yeah.
right there. And no, you did not tell me
Good
this.
to hear it, because I was worried I already mentioned it. So yeah, we were going by and we noticed that this guy was beating the shit out of this other guy, really hammering at him. And because it seemed like the guy that was kind of getting the shit beat out of him had maybe pickpocketed him or stolen something, because they had run out of a bus that was in front of us. So I don't really know. But that's just a guess from me. I don't know the situation. But our bus driver then just like immediately slammed on the brakes, hopped out, and then hops into the fight. And so then he's trying to hold back one guy and punch the other guy. And like, and all of us on the top of my bus were leaning over the window going, like, it's been 5 or 6 minutes. We're like, we gotta get to work. Like, what do we do? Yeah.
You just gotta let Dublin Bus do what it's gotta do.
But then the weirdest thing happened because I was like, well, somebody, like, I'm sure somebody's called the guards, right? Like, at some point a guard will show up, right? I think that did happen eventually, but what happened was that eventually it was like they all kind of got tired, and then they all stood back, like had a bit of a chat, and then walked in separate directions.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I don't know what was going on, but, it's fine. Like, it seemed like the bus driver was trying to help out a homie, but like, I don't know. I don't know what was going on. Anyway, I got to work 5 minutes late, but whatever.
But you had a tale to tell.
I mean, it's not as good as the time that the two women were fighting and one glassed the other one in front of the Lewis, but, they can't all be that.
Right. No, the Lewis will consistently outdo Dublin Bus, unfortunately, for those sort of occurrences.
Oh yeah, for people who don't live in Dublin, the Lewis has essentially like club bouncers on it that are not afraid to like grab you by the scruff of your neck and toss you out.
And they're supposedly adding the Lewis now into Galway. Sorry for our non-Irish listeners, the Lewis is the tram that goes through Dublin City, but they're now talking about adding it into Galway. And rather than coming up with a creative original name for it, they're calling it the Glewis.
Rob, you're fucking with me, right? Please say you're fucking with me.
No,
oh my god.
No, genuinely, I'm not.
But like, Lewis means something. Isn't that the Irish word for go or something like that?
For speed. Yeah.
See, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Jesus fucking, you know what? I mean,
yeah.
I bet it's gonna cost...
Creativity right there.
I mean, do you think it'll cost more or less than the Children's Hospital? That's another, like, Irish-specific reference.
I think it has about as much chance of being built as the Dublin Metro, so...
Well, did I tell you I was in a taxi once in Edinburgh, and the taxi driver just immediately started bitching about, because this was back when the Edinburgh tram had kind of more recently been built, or I think it had like more recently been either built or completed. It went way over time. I think it was being built the entire time I was doing my studies. But he was like, nobody wants the tram. Nobody needs the tram. Nobody on Leith is going on fucking holiday. Because it like runs from like Leith to the airport. I was just like, oh man, come on. There's Ryanair flights.
That's incredible.
As a low socioeconomic person, I was like, come on, cut us some slack. We at least like the ability.
Really pulling everyone
down.
no
shit. I was like, all right. But so that's the Suz lore of the week.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Love that.
Oh, skippers, you know what? Come on back. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna be something that we have never been and probably will never be again, which is succinct. So I have a short one for you, short-ish, and it's actually I think that my true calling on this podcast, other than being the Keebler elf you keep in the press above your hob and you pull out when you need somebody to talk to on the pod. It's true. I am a female Harry Potter, but I am in favor of trans rights. So
yeah, I was about to say, go on, finish that thought.
But I was like, I am 100% like not a TERF. So there we go.
I could hear your brain wading through that as you were saying it.
Because I was like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm one of those people that was utterly delighted that canonically there is a trans character in Hogwarts Legacy. Utterly delighted.
It's a beautiful thing.
Anyway, my calling is to do these series. So I've got a few series running. So I've got my Iterations of Bigfoot series, which is still on the go. Mm-hmm. I have multiple files.
That's beautiful.
I've got my like old-timey cures to various diseases, which is on the go. Which, by the way, just as a sneak peek, I found a whole book talking about the art and advertisement of medical cures for tuberculosis, and we are going to talk about that.
Oh.
So I'm going to have a really like interactive image episode that you are going to hate.
Yep. Okay. That's fair.
And then this is my new series, and this is haunted books and grimoires.
Oh.
So
yes.
we are diving into cursed texts, and I mean texts in the broadest sense, because I'm gonna be going over some like internet new media stuff. So I hope you're ready.
Amazing.
Not today though.
Oh, I'm so ready.
Yep. So I thought I'd start with something that I think we both of us we'll get a bit nostalgic about, because we both moonlit as academics in a previous life. And
toyed with the idea.
Yep, and like my spooky nerdy ass sitting in this humid weather is already like, I am ready for spooky autumn season. I am ready for you to send me Wake Me Up When September Ends on September 1st. I want to be allowed.
Don't you worry, Suz. We're at the end of June now. We're getting close.
I know. Like I am ready for the one time a year my husband allows me to watch Beetlejuice. Like he has to curtail that shit. And I'm ready for the one time a year that we're allowed to drink and watch the incredible 1980s film called The Worst Witch, starring Tim Curry. So,
well, we're nearly
there. So, which, by the way, that whole film is available on YouTube. You should absolutely watch it if you don't know. It's got it's incredible. It was my favorite growing up, and it's still one of my favorites. So, anyway, this is part 1 of Haunted Manuscripts, Books, and Media. So we're gonna go real, fake, myth, legend, actually not haunted, but haunted in the popular imagination. So we're gonna cover the Codex Gigas, the Necronomicon, all things grimoire, cursed, and all that. However, I'm excited. So today we're going to start with a text called the Book of Soyga. Have you heard of this?
No.
Oh, fantastic. I love that so much. Because as we get older and as we both still remain interested in the paranormal, we are running out of things that the other one hasn't heard of.
Yeah, the list is whittling down like quite quickly.
So my sources include excellently resourced Wikipedia articles, actually some really good leads I got on Reddit, and some funny theories, naturally. A literary blog that seems really cool called The House of Cadmus. I haven't done a lot of digging into it, but seems interesting. The Discovery Channel website, a few other scholarly blogs for context. Unfortunately, some of this searching ended up leading me to some dodgy, problematic sources in terms of like, I start out being like, oh wow, this person's interested in the history of magic and the occult, and oh look, they're really into like Norse and Celtic mythology stuff. We took the long way to the far right. Cool. Like, you get so far down like a blog post, you're like, okay. Oh, god damn it. Like,
yeah. It's like, it's such a sad thing, because sometimes you find an absolute banger of a topic.
Oh, yeah.
And then you'll read into it just slightly more than you should have, and then you're like, fuck, I can't talk about this now.
Like, and the thing that got me is like, this topic is like an actual topic. It was a real book. There's scholarly discussion around it. But like some of the things, so I wanted to hear from people who, really kind of believe in, magic or the occult or something like that, talking about it. But then the thing was, I was kind of disappointed, because you always kind of expect those people, people who are kind of pagan and pagan adjacent and all that, to be pretty left-leaning, generally.
Generally they are.
But man, so much of it has been co-opted by neo-Nazis. It's just not cool.
Yeah, that's why I always feel really conflicted, because I've desperately wanted to do an episode on the likes of like Aleister Crowley.
Oh yeah.
But like, the dude is just
yeah, it's like when you read something, oh shit, why can't I, oh god, the guy who's super problematic even for his time, who like wrote the
H.P.
Thank
Lovecraft.
you, Lovecraft. Sorry, I don't know why, but that wouldn't get me. So like, yeah, it's like when you read Lovecraft and you're like, damn, I loved that, because there are some texts that are like fine, but then you learn anything about the man and you're just like, now I feel like I can't like it. Like, his eldritch horror was based on the fact that he hated black people. Like, oh my, and women and everyone else.
It really bothers me, because I've been actually rereading his stuff recently. I just reread The Call of Cthulhu.
Oh yeah, you did.
And like, it's a great, like, if you just look at it as a book, don't look into the imagery, don't look into any, just read it as like on a surface level, it's brilliant. And then you like look into it ever so slightly and you're like, am I evil now?
Well,
I've read this.
It's actually a conversation I've been having a lot with my husband recently, with the kind of outturning of very popular figures or very popular historical creative figures who are actually just like found out to be horrible people, or let it be known that they are. Because you're like, there's a difference between someone, at least this is my current current take on it, is like, I think there's a difference between someone who creates a work that is interesting and important and beloved, and then they themselves end up being terrible. Kind of like the a la J.K. Rowling. Like, because like the story of Harry Potter, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, like, doesn't lead you to be transphobic or like support transphobia. Like, no, like you don't come out of that series being like, oh, I feel kind of weird, you know? Like, if anything, she wrote a very like inclusive of the outsider kind of story. Like, she just needed to shut the fuck up and never, like, please get off the internet. But then, and then, you know, you get, like, Picasso, because you're like, oh, like, what an important artist in terms of the development of the Expressionist movement, and then you find out, like, you read any letters he wrote, and he's always talking about, like, this 14-year-old he was seducing. And you're like, damn it, I didn't, like, just looking at Guernica, I didn't get that. Like, damn it. And it's the same thing with, who's the most recent one? Neil Gaiman. Like, damn it, Neil Gaiman, I like some of the shit you put out. Like, why did you have to be oh, and then, I mean, naturally, mine is also, like, Joss Whedon, how dare you? How dare you?
I never want to bring him up for you, because I know how, like...
because you know how foundational Buffy the Vampire Slayer is to me as a person.
Yeah.
I'm just like, how dare you betray Buffy this way?
Literally, as soon as the news came out about that, my first thought was like, Suz is never going to recover from
Suz
this.
is never going to recover from this. I mean, I'm lucky in the sense that I never was one to kind of have a, like an idealistic, pedestaled idea of a content creator or an author or a painter or anything. I mainly like indulged in kind of the relationship, the parasocial relationship I had with the book or the film or something. Mm-hmm. But no, I was just like, how dare you? Anyway, sorry, slightly off topic, but we are back. So, but anyway, actually, it's an interesting conversation. If people want to like weigh in on it, I'd love to hear other people's thoughts about how you might like. Is it like, what are your stances on like engaging with work that maybe is very important to you or has been, but then you find out is like created by a shitty person? So it's an interesting conversation, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would love to see some thoughts on that. We have some very interesting people in our community that they comment fairly frequently on our posts that go up, and they always, like, I always want to engage them more in the comments because they'll give like a little hint of something, and I'm like, I really desperately want to talk to you more.
Yes.
and see what it is or how you feel about these certain things, and I think this would be a very good topic to do it.
For sure. Maybe we can start having a part of some longer episodes just being like things that got brought up in the comments that we found were funny or interesting, or like in response to something. We could just like...
There are some strong opinions on...
Oh God.
on your DB Cooper softcore porn from last week.
Please be nice to me.
Oh no, they're all very positive.
Oh good. I told, because my husband asked, he's like, so what did you talk about today? And I was like, well, I did. I was like, well, I mainly talked about a softcore porn movie that's called like Bigfoot versus DB Cooper, and he was like, stop talking. He was just like, I already have enough conversation with Rob that like I don't need this. Because, I mean, y'all, I know we probably mentioned it before. If you think mine and Rob's conversations are cursed, like, Rob and my husband's conversations are fully demented.
We go to places that I don't think either of us really expect. Nope. We're on a journey of discovery.
No, so, but yeah, I would love to hear from people about, stuff we talk about, but also, stuff like this, in terms of, you know, when cool, people who produce cool things end up being not cool. So, okay, so I'm back. So yeah, I ended up being in some places where I was like, damn it, how did I end up here? I'm not safe here. Like, so we're gonna stay on the scholarly, the inclusive, the diverse, the equitable side of things, which is where we should all be. And so, like, let's talk about this book of really magic weirdness and its very strange owner for a while. So, the Book of Soyga, also known as, and I'm so sorry I'm going to mispronounce this, but it's Aldaraya or Aldareia. There's several vowels in a row. It's from the 1500s and is a treatise on magic. So it's likely that multiple copies were produced at the time, but one was known by the well-known Elizabethan scholar John Dee. Now we're gonna be. Do you know about John Dee?
Oh, I'm familiar with John Dee.
Okay, what do you know about John Dee?
He was a fucking mentor, basically.
He was an interesting dude who was interested in some weird things. I hope you haven't heard this bit, because we go places that I was I reading the blogs and the Wikipedia and then all these stories, I was just like, oh my god, is this real? But it said the same thing in all the sources, so I was like, oh, I guess this happened. So,
Okay.
you might know the name from John Dee, which I will get to where you might know it in like popular media when I get to another name that's probably familiar to some people. And then I want y'all to remember that, so I'll flag it when I get to it, and then we're gonna come back to it at the end of the current kind of media around it. So, Dee is a figure well known to scholars of early modern England and early modern philosophical thought. He was truly a scholar that could absolutely only exist hundreds of years ago, because he was one of those, he was like a mathematician and an astronomer and a philosopher. Like, you can't do that shit now in like the modern university system.
Yeah, he also just existed during a time that like magic and science were basically just both the same thing for a period of time, where they were just like, yeah, this exists.
Yes, I was just about to say that, in that, so not only was he those things, he was also an expert on alchemy, divination, and hermetic philosophy.
Yeah, he's basically a wizard.
Which is great, and he is about to roll wisdom, like he is about to crit fail on wisdom, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So, but it's also from a space of like, you can't do that many things in academia anymore. Like,
no, absolutely not.
Like, listeners, if you're not like kind of aware of the kind of the Western academic system, is that a lot of like you have to be like, okay, I'm gonna write a PhD on the development of linear algebra as represented by a single manuscript written in Middle German and held in a private library in Patagonia. Like, that's all you've got. That's all you have to do that. So you can't be like, no, I like math and philosophy and astronomy and maybe some English literature and sometimes Latin. Like, you can't do it. You can't.
Yep. Yeah, it's a different time.
So you may know, I'm going to flag it now, so some of our listeners may know John Dee's name from the excellent, in my opinion, book series and then TV adaptation of Deborah Harkness's A Discovery of Witches. Have you seen that or read it?
No, I haven't seen it. I've heard of it, but I haven't.
Has your wife not made you watch it? Has she seen? Oh, she'd love it.
I'm pretty certain she's probably watched it. I just haven't.
Okay, I actually think you should tune in. It's really good. Like, I think you'd like it. Anyway, but so I've read both the book series, and I actually read the book series when I was living in Oxford, which was really cool because that's where a lot of it's set. And then I thought the TV adaptation was brilliant. It stars Teresa Palmer and Matthew Good. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But back to John Dee. So Dee had an incredibly large library, and it's one of the things he was most known for. In fact, he had one of the largest, if not the largest, library in England at the time. And as a day job, he served as a key political advisor to the monarchy. But don't worry, this seemingly cool, intellectually interesting dude was also an asshole. He was a
they also go
He was a huge advocate for the founding of English colonies in the New World, and is credited with coining the term the British Empire.
Yeah, he is. He's a real genuine bastard.
So yeah, cheers for colonialism, my guy. We all really appreciated that, particularly those of us who are not white and who do not live in, or who live in the global south. We all really appreciate that. Yeah, not great. But
I mean, you're talking to an Irish person.
Yeah, I mean, no, I am an Irish person now.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Sorry. I was just really excited to change my nationality on my Ryanair profile.
Oh, beautiful.
Because they were like, enter your passport information. I was like, oh, okay, all right. Sorry. Yeah, it's the little things. So anyway, he left Queen Elizabeth's service at one point to travel throughout Europe, seeking out what were, quote, likely charlatans, but claimed to be occult expert practitioners. Now, it's also important to note that before he served Queen Elizabeth, he served her older sister, who was queen at the time, Queen Mary, also known as, she's the one known as Bloody Mary. She would have been Catherine of Aragon and Henry VIII's daughter. And he was arrested during her reign for apparently under the charge, I think it was called calculation, which was essentially that he had done an astrological reading of Queen Mary's, I don't know, future self. He'd looked at the planets and the stars and the charts or whatever, and had foretold something not positive, and then they got really mad at him. So, interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, he was...
I mean...
Yeah. So anyway, he takes a career break from Lizzie, and he's going throughout Europe. So, however, this is important context, while he was traveling abroad and not having access to the Ring doorbell system we all know and love today, he returned to England eventually to find his library had been completely vandalized. He was also then basically told once Lizzie died that James I wanted nothing to do with him, so he died in poverty in London, and his final resting place is still unknown.
Yeah, I'm not too sad about that, to be perfectly honest with you.
No, it's fine. But now we know a little bit like John Dee. Let's go back to the Book of Soyga. So the prolific English antiquarian Elias Ashmole, again, if you're not familiar with the history, but you are familiar with something more modern, such as Discovery of Witches, and I believe Ashmole is mentioned in the Magnus Archives a couple of times.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Yeah. So I was like, it's triggering a Magnus moment in me, which what doesn't? I love that series so much. So he noted that the book was owned by the Duke of Lauderdale and that it previously belonged to Dee, and it was sold in auction in 1692. It was donated to the Bodleian Library in Oxford in 1605. Now, there are a couple of different versions of this book, but I don't really want to get into the lineage of the book's history because it is really important and interesting from a very kind of like book history publishing perspective, but I want to focus on the occulty weird shit, so I hope y'all will forgive me, and if you're interested, go do some looking into it yourselves. And I actually can say you can go do your own research because I don't
literally just about to say, please say it.
But I actually feel kind of okay about saying it because this is slightly less batshit than a lot of the stuff I tend to talk about.
Yeah.
So let's get into some of the book's stats. So the book has just under 200 pages, 3 main subsections, and several unnamed short works within it. And the notable bit, which we're going to spend a lot of time on, is that the final section consists of 36 tables of letters, seemingly at random. Mm-hmm. So, also, if you are interested, you can find a free PDF copy of the book if you just Google it. It's one of the first couple of links. So just in case it is written in Latin, so I mean, more power to you, but here we go. So the text of the book, like I said, written in Latin, includes specific incantations and spells, as well as instructions on magic, what it is, what to do with it, demonology, which I thought you'd love.
Yeah, big fan of that.
Lunar mansions. Do you know what a lunar mansion is?
No, I don't.
Well, good for you. I had to look it up too. So it's an astrological term, and I think
I'm glad I don't know what that is.
It actually it comes from astrology, but I think back in the time when astrology and astronomy were kind of blurry. So there are segments of the ecliptic kind of cycle through which the moon passes in its orbit around Earth. And in fact, this concept of what in English would be called lunar mansions was used by a number of ancient cultures as part of their calendrical systems, including Babylonian astronomy, Chinese astronomy, and Egyptian astronomy.
Okay, interesting.
Lunar mansions in this are very much more on the side of, kind of like Mercury's in retrograde, therefore your girl's gonna be a bitch or something, I think. So, the text is also included things called conjunctions, which is another astrological term relating to the position and aligning of certain planets, and the names and genealogies of angels, which is so metal because that these are the biblically accurate angels.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like balls of eyeballs and flaming figures and just insanity.
Yeah, biblically accurate angels are probably one of the most metal things out there.
I highly recommend looking up how different hierarchies of angels are described in the Bible, because it's actually bonkers, and
it's wild.
It makes you understand why the angel that visited Mary to announce that she was going to give birth to Jesus had to be "Be not afraid" as the first statement.
This really just deep booming voice, "Be not afraid,"
and it's just a big flaming eyeball floating in front of you, telling him you're knocked up.
I am friend.
You have God's baby. She'll be fuck. All those lovely medieval paintings of Mary holding a lily, at the Annunciation. In real life she was just screaming for hours.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so it has a lot of descriptions of the angels and what they do and how they're supposed to intercede or interact with humanity, and that's going to be important. We are going to talk more about angels, so I hope you're excited. So,
I am. Let's do this.
So one of the most continually interesting aspects of the Book of Soyga are the 26 large squares of letters that Dee was obsessed with but completely unable to decipher. I mean, again, we're talking, like, so it's a book where he did translate a lot of spells and incantations and all that, and then at the very end you come across these charts of just seemingly random letters, and you have no idea what they mean. I think, it kind of, particularly in a pre-internet age, maybe it would have driven me mad too.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like, I was thinking, oh, this is like standard Book of Spells, grade early modern. Like, I don't know, but like, it's like the quiz at the end of the maths chapter. Like, let's test what you learned. So I want to get into some of the, so that's kind of an overview of the book. So I want to get into some of the potential conclusions that can be drawn from the text, and also take you through the lengths to which Dee went to try and decipher the parts of the text he couldn't, as well as some other interesting pathways we can go down. So interestingly, even from the title, so Soyga is agios, spelled backwards, which happens to be Greek for the word holy. Yeah, apparently there was a lot of weird kind of backwards reading things, or anagrams of things that you can kind of find semi-apophenia related, words, like magic, spell, death. Ooh.
Yeah.
If you play the record backwards, it definitely meant that you have to, go jump off a cliff or something.
I desperately want to do an episode on like hidden messages for the devil in music.
I'm going to be angry with you if you don't.
Okay, good to know.
So there was a scholar named Jim Reeds, who we'll talk more about later, but he wrote about the Book of Soyga that the writing was heavily arithmetic, reminiscent of Hebrew-like backwards writing, and is characteristic of the new Kabbalistic magic, which I wasn't really familiar with that word, so it's kind of like Kabbalah, which is, from what I understand, kind of a mystical arm of Judaism. It was actually gaining a lot of popularity in the 16th century, which is weird because the only time I remember it like coming into my sphere of knowledge was in the early 2000s. Do you remember when a bunch of celebrities were kind of quote unquote into it?
I do.
Because
very much
like
so.
who was, like Madonna, right? Like Madonna was really into it, and they all wore those red string bracelets and things. Yeah. And I think somebody got a Kabbalah related tattoo. I don't know. I watched a lot of VH1 in the mornings before school, and they were always talking about shit like this.
That does sound familiar.
Yeah, like somebody got, but I think they got one, and it doesn't actually say anything. Oh my god. Okay, was it a Britney tattoo, like on the back of her neck? Oh my god. Okay, hold on.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Hold on. Maybe I'm wrong. Britney tattoo.
It's like white people going to China and getting like chips written on their neck in Chinese.
I think that's hilarious. I would totally, like, if I was gonna get something in Chinese on me, it would say something like chips.
Yeah.
Okay, she does have like a Hebrew Kabbalah tattoo. Excuse me if I'm mispronouncing it. It's apparently one of the Kabbalah's 72 names of God. This one is for healing. Of course, I am reading that from a early 2000s tabloid website, so take that with a salt mine of salt.
Yeah, that sounds about it. Oh, I remember now who the other celebrities were. It was fucking Lindsay
Yes.
Lohan was mad into it. And then I think Demi Moore was really into it, and then she got Ashton Kutcher.
I was about to say, was Ashton Kutcher into it? Because that was about the time when people were wearing those Von Dutch hats that were like future Mrs. Kutcher or something. That aged well, didn't it, ladies? Sorry. You and your low-rise jeans, yeah.
Damn.
So yeah, so it's got stuff kind of like that in the book. But so Dee was obsessed with the square tables in the back of the book. So these squares were made of 36 columns by 36 rows of Latin letters for a total of 46,656 letters. No, I did not check the maths on that. You are welcome. Dee was convinced that
Thank you.
Dee was convinced that it held a secret message, which, like, fair enough. You'd kind of like you want to believe that it does, right?
Oh, totally, yeah.
Like, yeah, you absolutely want to believe that there's something there. So he was unable.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was unable to decipher them satisfactorily. So he asked his confidant and notable scryer, Edward Kelly. I want that to be my title. I want to die being like, yes, Suz, notable scryer. I need you to make sure that's on a tombstone somewhere. I don't even care if my body's there, but like.
All right, I'll make it
Thank
work.
you. Kelly was also an occultist and spiritual medium who claimed to hold the ability to summon spirits and angels. And this Sigma of a man also claimed to be able to turn any base gold into metal, and he claimed to own the Philosopher's Stone.
Very good.
That's too many things, my guy. That's what makes it unbelievable. You get one, maybe two.
Yeah.
It's like when a horror film is like, oh, and the bad guy is a ghost and a serial killer who also is like from the devil, and like it's too many things. No, you get one or two.
Yeah. He's also got a massive dong.
Oh yeah, that's the scariest bit is his dick. So
yeah, totally.
I mean, sure.
So, do we know who wrote this book? I like. Do we have any indication at all who wrote this book?
I didn't immediately see one. I didn't do a lot of digging into its lineage. So
So it's just this mystery book that turns up in John Dee's hands, basically.
yeah, like I mean, I'm sure he got it via legitimate sources. I mean, he was fairly wealthy during that period, and he was known for being this massive book collector. So I think he probably knew a person who knew about some, rare book. I mean, and this was obviously back in a period where books were incredibly valuable. So
that's I'm just curious, like who could have potentially written this, because they would have seemingly have more of a knowledge of this than John Dee.
Oh yeah,
who's the self-professed expert on
for
it.
sure. Yeah, and the answer to that is I don't know. I am not saying that the answer is not out there. I am saying that I did not read it. So
No one knows.
That's the gospel truth right there.
That's the other bit of the mystery.
So Dee totally believed that Kelly could do everything he said he could, because why wouldn't you, right? Because no one's ever lied before. So he asked Kelly to summon the Archangel Uriel to ask about what the tables meant. And can we please imagine for just a moment how that went?
Could you? Well, yes, but firstly, could you imagine? Just imagine for a second if he actually did it. Could you imagine, just how much of a mindfuck that would be for someone?
Wait, you mean if it actually worked?
If he actually did, could you just imagine?
Well, what's?
If he's like, you got to summon an archangel, and he's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, if he just sat down and eyes rolled back to the back of his head, just.
Yeah.
Oh.
You want me to summon an archangel? I call that Tuesday, mate.
I got one in my kitchen right now, mate. South London, isn't it? It's one lads on tour, and it's just Uriel and Kelly and Michael and all the archangels.
All wearing t-shirts.
That say their nicknames, like Shagger and
yeah.
Ass Plunderer and all the other terrible things that guys make each other wear, for stag do's and shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. I know that's for people. I don't know how relevant it is elsewhere, but for people in America, that's not really a thing. So I'm just gonna tell you that's a very UK Irish specific phenomenon of.
It is a beautiful thing though. I as much of I'm not in laddish culture. There's certain things that I fully get behind, and that is one of them.
They make each other these horrible t-shirts because they'll go on a guy's trip to Magaluf or something, and they'll all say lads on tour or something on the front, 20 whatever, and then on the back they'll just nickname each other, and they'll always be the most insulting, usually kind of gross things. So there'll be a bald guy, and they'll be like ball hair or something, and
yeah, someone will be called Muff Diver.
Yeah, oh yeah. So I think there's a comedian who has a joke about what he saw somebody at an airport, and what was it? I'll think of it in a second. But it was offensive. Whereas the kind of the girls trip one, they would all be beautiful eyes and gorgeous and stuff, and the guys are just trying to make each other want to die.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So this is the same thing. So I'm just imagining a giant eyeball with a t-shirt on it that says something like Blinky or something like.
Well, no, this is old school, so it's definitely we can't say it now on the podcast. That's some old school offensive shit.
I was like, did I just accidentally say a slur? I don't think I did.
No.
I was like, I'm not one to do that.
No, they've got some 15th century shit on there.
Oh yeah, that's the "do you bite your thumb at me, sir" kind of shit. So anyway, so he apparently gets Kelly to channel Uriel, summon him. I'm not sure if he summoned him and then there was just an eyeball, or if he like channeled him, because there is a guy there are a couple of people I would imagine, but I've seen one guy on YouTube Shorts that I pause my history on YouTube so it doesn't give me recommended things, so it just shoots me the most random shit, because it's like, what do you like? Tell us what you like. We need an algorithm.
Same with myself.
And so one guy, and I'm like, the secret is ASMR and lo-fi. But anyway, now they know. Fuck. No, so I got this one guy thrown at me, and he claims to channel this like high alien dude. And when he does it, it's just like him talking with his eyes shut. Like, I'm imagining that's something that John Kelly did. Maybe he did a bit more kind of smoke and mirrors with it for John D. But D actually transcribed the whole convo with Uriel the Angel in his spiritual diaries. So he was like, "Dear diary,
Yes.
John left the room and Uriel was just fucking there to stir the shit." I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, so he says that Uriel claimed that the Book of Soyga was a revelation to Adam in the Garden of Eden, but that Uriel didn't know what the tables meant either, and that only the Archangel Michael knew. So it's kind of like, no, I do have a girlfriend. She just goes to another school.
Met her at the Gaeltop.
Yeah.
There's a reference for Irish people.
I actually get that reference, and it's very funny. No, it's kind of wild though to think about a conversation where the guy was like, "I am the Archangel Uriel." Oh yeah, I don't really know that one actually. Like,
yeah, you got me there, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's not really my kind of area.
Like, yeah, I hate to tell you this, but I'm gonna have to put in a 4, but get to him, you know, like.
Yeah, he's like, this is kind of embarrassing, actually.
Yeah. I'm so sorry you were on the wait list to talk to me, because this is, oh god, this must be so frustrating. So.
I hate that for you.
Kelly did know, or sorry, D noted that, this is the angel. Uriel noted that if anyone human learns the secret of the tables, that they're gonna die in 2.5 years from that discovery. So this is very Black Tapes the Unsound territory.
Yeah.
So basically, if D were to learn the secrets, he would die in 2.5 years. So ominous. Oh yeah. 100%. Super unhelpful. Just kind of run of the mill spiritualist stuff. Ultimately, D obviously never figured them out. But I think after he found out, supposedly that he would die in 2.5 years if he did find out, I stand to reason that his heart wasn't in it after that.
No, probably not.
Do you think he thought about it and was like, "Oh God, I do really want to know, but I have like tickets that are quite far in advance for a bard. I would like to." Yeah,
like Taylor Swift is coming to Wembley, and I just don't really know if I got.
Yeah, Lady Taylor Swiftus is coming on her the Eras tour. Like I can't be doing this. She's doing her last 16 sonnets. Like I can't miss that.
Yeah, I hear Shakespeare's working on a banger at the moment, and I just don't want to miss it.
So let's talk about the afterlife of this, because D is dead. We don't know where he's buried. You know, died in poverty. You know, like some sounds like a big L. He got ratioed. I don't know if I'm using that term right. It's just what I heard.
Yeah, we'll say you are.
Oh, yay! Yeah. I know it's something to do with like to dislike ratio. So.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. So yeah, why not?
Yeah. Like, why not, Suz? That's like, I'm a dog and it's my last day, like I'm dying, and you're gonna put me down, and it's my last day, and you're like, why not, Suz? Sure, have an 18th hot dog. Like,
you want some chocolate milk?
Like, no, you go take a dump in the daffodils. Sorry, that got dark. Anyway, so after Dee's death in 1608, the book was lost. However, it was rediscovered in 1994 in the British Library, with a second edition found in the Bodleian Library. And do you know the person who made this discovery?
Who?
Deborah freaking Harkness.
I legitimately held out for a second that you were going to say like Dan Brown or something. God. I was going to be like, please God, please say Dan Brown.
No, it would have been Robert Langdon, you dumbass.
True.
And it would have taken 35 3-page chapters to talk about it.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
Sorry, now I'm just thinking of, now I'm just thinking of the actor who plays Robert Langdon. Standing in the library being like, and then the dramatic music playing. Anyway, no, so it was Deborah Harkness. So she is the author of the fantasy series Discovery of Witches. However, before she was that, she was she is a preeminent historian. So she was doing her doing her thesis on John Dee and just happened to discover this like huge discoveries in both the British Library and the Bodleian, from what I understand. Like she
Isn't it wild that like the British Library is so large that there was a book that was basically lost there for like 400 years?
Oh, I'm sure there's loads of them that are just misfiled or
100%, and people are just like, yeah, it's just gone.
Well, and then there's a lot of stuff
like fucking 400 years
there's
later.
a lot of stuff that happens. Like I think when I was doing my PhD, they were moving all of their like newspaper material, physical newspaper material from a place called Boston Spa in the Northeast down into the main library in London. And because there had been like a huge flood at the Boston Spa one, and I think some things were lost there maybe. I don't remember, but it was a huge thing. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if something just slips through the cracks because they've got so much. It's a bit like I sometimes find myself, like, I guess my Rome is me thinking about what's in the Vatican archives.
Oh, stop. That, like, genuinely would be, like, a dream of mine to actually see what's in the Vatican archives.
I presented to my husband, I was like, honey, do you think they would let me in, like, go wander the Vatican archives if it was, like, an adult Make-A-Wish? Like, I had a life-limiting illness? And he was like, well, yeah. He goes, they'd probably let you do it and then shoot you in the back of the head just before you got out the door to ensure that, like, nothing was ever circulated.
I think the only, isn't it like one of the only requirements to get into the Vatican archives, apart from obviously being like a researcher or historian, you also have to be Catholic? I think
so.
Is
that true?
Damn.
Is Irish close enough?
Yeah, why not? Like, yeah. Oh, I just checked there. You'll be glad to know, I think they got rid of that rule. You don't have to be Catholic anymore. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you are. It's fantastic. So yeah, but yeah, my husband's convinced that if they did let me in, that they would, like, if I learned actually anything of, like, real interest or intrigue, that they would just, like, take me out. Like, the Swiss Guard would just snap my neck on the exit.
Absolutely. Like,
it's like, they'd be like, yeah, sure, go ahead and read that Galileo scroll. Take a dump in the daffodils.
Thing that I love the thought of, like, there's a list somewhere in the Vatican that has a list of everything in that library or archives, and like just even to see the list would be just so interesting.
I mean, I'm kind of, there are lots of things that I like anticipate or hope for in the upcoming apocalypse that I just feel is coming. Everybody should feel is coming. I'm hoping that it's the kind that, some things will be in ruins and we can
I don't want a Library of Alexandria though with the Vatican.
No. I don't want that, but I do want people to be like not concerned about the archives for a bit, so I can just go have a look. Like, oh, we need to be concerned about the
Chicago
zombies.
Pope seems pretty chill at the moment, so you probably have a good chance with him.
Didn't somebody say he's the first Pope to ever prefer deep dish pizza? I think so. I saw that and I was like, all right. So anyway, back to the Book of Soyga and John Dee. So like I said, Deborah freaking Harkness, awesome professor and fantasy author. Like, also like bitch though, because she to have succeeded so well at both is like, because like the series Discovery of Witches is like beloved in kind of the fantasy, the urban fantasy genre kind of, but like to also be a permanent professor is really frustrating to me, who will never amount.
She's given off some John Dee and Kelly vibes of like, yeah, I'm a pretty established academic. I'm also an.
It's like you get one, you don't get both.
By the way, I also make a mean mac and cheese, but
Yeah. I haven't even gotten into her cobbling career. Like, Louboutins? No. So in 2006, Jim Reeds, who I mentioned a bit earlier, who is a mathematician and cryptologist, he transcribed every letter of the 36 tables onto a computer to analyze them. And apparently he basically semi-cracked he cracked a part of the code. So apparently the tables are based on a, quote, magic word, or seed as the other term, which is different for each table and enables the decryption. So the first 24 tables he figured out are named after the zodiac constellations. Then there are the 7 named after planets, and finally 5 are the natural elements. However, despite the fact that this element of the code was cracked, the meaning of the magic words or seeds, like their overall message and context, is still unknown. However, there are loads of theories of what the tables might mean. And so now we're going to go from, celebrated authors and, renowned professors to some Reddit stuff.
Yes.
Are you ready? Okay. So I am dipping into r/today I learned, r/high strangeness, and r/occult. And if you think we're not going deep into the comment section, you are so wrong. And you will have to now channel Uriel.
Amazing.
To know how wrong
I'm ready.
you are. Okay, so on Today I Learned, skepticism seems to reign supreme. So where essentially the party line is sort of that it's just religious nonsense about demons and angels and Kabbalistic incantations, and it's nothing of meaning, which kind of tracks because Today I Learned is well on the realm of a, I don't want to say like quote unquote normal subreddit, but they're not dipping their toes into any kind of conspiracy or extremist theory. That's not their bag. That's not their bag.
They have their eyes closed and they've been infiltrated by the Men in Black, and that's it.
Oh, wait, did I tell you that it was? Oh yeah, because you were gonna get the meat cleaver, and then I said, I was like, oh, it could be used for self-defense, and you were like, yeah, the Men in Black won't memory erase me, and I was like, yeah, because they won't be able to hit the button on the flasher because you'll have chopped off their hands. Sorry, because I was like, I thought about, I laughed about something Men in Black recently, and of course it was talking to you. Who else would it be? So next we're gonna go to r/high strangeness, which I actually have never been on before. Rob, you know this. I am so barely on social media.
The high strangeness
hilarious.
subreddit is, for me, up there with internet lore, stumble upon.
Is it, give me the vibe. What is the vibe?
It's kind of whatever you want it to be. It's got a bit of everything in there. It's mostly kind of paranormal and kind of that sort of stuff, but then there's also there's a good bit of UFO sightings, there's a bit of occult stuff in it as well. It's basically just supernatural HQ effectively on Reddit.
Boy, this is gonna track that. So this theory on there that was made perhaps facetiously, I can never say that correctly, it proposed that Mormonism, founded by Joseph Smith, was a complete ripoff of the origin story in the Book of Soyga. This person goes on to elaborate that the golden tablets reportedly given to Joseph Smith by God were basically just the same shit that's in the Book of Soyga.
Beautiful.
So it's ding dong, hello, my name is Brother. Have you heard of this? Just 36 tables of Latin letters. So, sorry, now I'm just thinking of the Book of Soyga in the Book of Mormon font, for the musical.
Gosh, that would be amazing.
And then finally, to wrap it up, we go to the good old r/occult, where somebody claimed that, and this one got beyond me very quickly. So they claimed they had done this thing where they'd pop the tables into Google Translate with the intention of, and I know these are going to sound like fake words, but here we are, fake strings of words, but helping to establish a bridge of communication between humans and the high-frequency probabilistic wave function collapsers, for example, AI entities. They then go on to use terms like the noosphere, the electromagnetic spectrum, all that stuff. I then launched into an analysis of one of the tables they had run through Google Translate, and let me tell you, girly pop, I did not follow at all. But I went down into the comments to see if someone could helpfully tell me what was going on. That was not the case. It was multiple people who had then performed the analysis or were criticizing different aspects of the analysis. So there would just be very frequently 36 rows and columns of letters in the comments. And they could be as you can see from line 15, letter 12. And I was like,
man, I need to get off the internet because it saddens me that I actually knew some of the terms that you just used there.
See, I knew as I was reading it, I was like, Rob knows exactly what this guy's talking about. And you always make things ooh, Suz is the one who has Lucifer as her profile pic. No. It's Rob who we need to watch out for. So that's it. That's the Book of Soyga. I hope you enjoyed the first entry into our weird and wonderful haunted grimoires, manuscripts, and unknown
I
books.
love that. I'm a huge fan of this. I want to like delve more into
So, I mean,
occult stuff as well on this in a fun way, not in because I know there's probably people that listen to us that have beliefs in the occult, and that's okay. But it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, you can, as long as you're, yeah, and we're also, I mean, am I throwing down a gauntlet? But like, I don't want us to do like occult and the Nazis. Like,
so
can we not do that?
Desperately want to do that, but it's not appropriate.
I know
to
you do. I can feel that energy. I know. Time and a place,
Like,
and it is neither.
Maybe someday if we have like paywalled episodes, like
Oh god, and it's just gonna be me going. It's just gonna be Rob like fully like diving into something, me going, oh, I don't want to know this. Like just like I'm being
the
tied
episode
to a
will start with me
chair.
saying, I know how this sounds, but
Oh god.
like
And it'll just be me making a Tina Belcher noise for 3 hours, just like.
yeah, maybe someday if we have like paywall episodes where it's not on a public feed, I'd consider it then as just a fun time, because there are fun stories there in Nazis being killed doing it, which I'm fine with.
Because like, well, I'm just to say to get like I am just way too inundated with like the horrible Naziness. Like, because I'm listening to this really great series that's being done by the podcast In Bed with the Right, where they are both academics and like very left intellectuals, and they're kind of taking these far right concepts and phenomena and things. But one of the things that they're doing is they're going through every month of 1933, like in time with every month in 2025. So they just released their June episode, and like it's frightening, the parallels between like things that are happening in the world now versus things that happened in 1933. So it's I don't need that. That's it. I don't need anything else. Like I accidentally, I was like, I had a few spare minutes before a meeting at work, and I logged on to like the Associated Press news because I haven't checked the news in weeks because I don't want to be depressed. And then like the first 3 headlines, I was like, nope, we're done, we're out. Like, so yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Rob, can you tell them where they can find us?
On social media. You can get us on Threads and Instagram at the Spooky F Pod. You can get us on YouTube when this episode goes up. You can post in the comments there. Or you can email us at thespookyfpodcast@gmail.com. That's really kind of everywhere that we are at the moment.
Yeah, and like Rob is at the other end of those, so like A, be nice, and B, if you like say hi and I don't know, ask a question, say a cool comment.
We actually
really
have some like consistent fans of the podcast, which are amazing, that will message frequently enough on Instagram. I don't want to name anyone because that's not cool, but you all know who.
No.
You know who you are.
Asked.
I respond to you all the time. So
do they? I mean, do y'all have a collective name y'all would like? You know, like a murder of
send in
crows. Like
I'm
send in
just
your
gonna immediately just rule out pissers of podcasts because
well, no, they already
exactly.
know
You
who
degenerates
they are.
know what you are.
They were. Well, that pre-existed the existence of the pod. Like that was. They were into that way before we came on the scene. So, oh yeah. No, let us know. What is your collective identity here?
Please do. Let us know. I would love to know.
Yeah, I would too. And with that, I'm gonna say adios and have a spooky and delightful week or night, morning, whenever you're listening to this. And please be lovely to each other and be lovely to yourselves. Bye.